He's not
He's
able
finding it
to
difficult.
get through, is it? Or finding it difficult. Okay.
Yes. So Zahir,
Yes.
hi.
So
Welcome to
Zahir,
the Gold
hi.
Ganga Pure Light page.
Welcome to the
We are
Golden Ganga
live
Pure Light page. We are
on
live
this
on this
on one of the last few weekends that
on one of the
2020
last
has
few
for us.
weekends that 2020 has for us.
For all our listeners,
For all our
there are a
listeners,
couple of things happening today.
there are a couple of things
Potentially,
happening
my
today.
voice is echoing,
Potentially, my voice
and
is
today is
echoing.
one of the days
And
when you
today's
don't
one of the
want my
days
voice to echo
when you
because
don't want
I
my
have a
voice to
terrible
echo because
cold
I have a terrible cold
and a terrible cough, and I'm
and
going
a
to have
terrible
Zahir
cough.
speak, and
And
I'm
I'm
going to
going
be
to have
sitting
Zahir speak,
quietly
and I'm going to be sitting
for
quietly
90% of this conversation.
for
So,
90% of this conversation. So,
like I was saying to Zahir
like I
just
was
before we
saying to
went
Zahir
live,
just before we went
Imran was
live,
supposed to join us,
Imran was
but he
supposed to
seems to be
join
facing
us,
some
but
kind
he
of
seems to be
technical
facing.
difficulties. So we have you with us for the entire evening, 40 minutes. We have
So
the pleasure
we'll.
of having Zahir Sheikh with us.
It's,
So Zahir,
we have the
before
pleasure
I
of
ask you
having
any
Zahir
other
Sheikh with
questions,
us.
there are
So
a lot
Zahir,
of people listening to us right now. A lot of people on the Gold Ganga
people
Pure Light
listening to us
Facebook
right
page.
now, a lot of people on the Golden Pure Light
Tell us
Facebook page.
about your journey
Tell us
in real estate.
about your journey in real estate. Very good evening to you, Lena, and to all the viewers back here on Facebook Live. Witnessing this special event, which is called as the Goel Ganga Delight. And at the onset, I would like to, thank Lena and the Goel Ganga group for giving me this platform to express my thoughts about how the things are happening currently in the real estate sector as such. Well, to begin with, my name is Zahir and Zahir Sheikh, and I'm basically born and raised in Pune itself. So Pune has been, something which I have seen right from my childhood days, and the way Pune has developed into one of the cosmopolitan cities of major cities of India. So I have witnessed it for the last 35 odd years that I can say from the time probably I started understanding how the city is located and how the dynamics are placed. So probably that gives away the very basic thing that I am around 40 years old. So that was a direct giveaway about my age. Having said that, being born and raised in Pune, I come from a family of people, a family where my dad worked for the general insurance industry, and he retired around 6 or 7 odd years back. He used to work for the New India Insurance Company, and his last posting was at the head office at Bombay. So. So general insurance was something which I was fed upon right from the times when I was in college, right? So I basically did my graduation from the Neswadia College. My schooling happened from the Bishop School. Then I did my graduation from the Neswadia College, and then post that I had a 1 year stint with World Network Services, that's WNS, which is one of the leading BPO and KPO companies in Pune. And post that, I completed my MBA from the Pune University, Department of Management Sciences, and I completed both my marketing specialization as well as my HR specialization from Pune. Uh, Coming back to where I left off, as in with the insurance industry, my first job per se post completing my MBA was with the insurance sector. So I started my career as a management trainee with HDFC Chubb General Insurance. Now Chubb is moved out and it is HDFC Ergo. So so the last 16 years, if I look at, before I switched to the real estate sector, I have worked for brands like ICICI Lombard, I have worked for HDFC Chubb, I have worked for SBI General Insurance, and I worked for a good number of years for Bharti AXA as well. So post that, post having a fairly good stint with the insurance sector, I came on the other side of the table, which is basically channel. That is when from core insurance, that was a big switch that I made on the other side of the table. So getting into broking. So insurance broking per se taught me as to how we basically pitch various products to a particular client. Now, again, coming back to the real estate sector, there are only we basically identify the client only in two ways. One would be a direct walk-in client, and then one would be somebody who has been given knowledge about that particular product, and that we basically we call them on in normal parlance we call them as agents, and probably the polished version of it is a channel partner, or probably we also call them advisors to or specialists in the so the last 2 years I have been into the real estate sector as such. So I switched from SBI onto one of the leading, you can call them as one of the leaders and pioneers in the real estate broking sector. By the company name was Square Yards. So I worked with them for almost a year, and then probably during the COVID times is when I had to take a call, and then I moved out, and then probably I'm into a fairly small setup, and which would fulfill my desires to probably make this brand as big as what my previous company was. So that was the entire thought process that went into the switch. And in fact, with the kind of things that we've seen over in the last 6-8 months from the time COVID struck the entire world, the learning speed has actually doubled up. Prior to that, it was like any other hunky dory kind of job that everybody dreams of. But COVID taught us to basically try and explore the horizons, try and explore and get into things which probably you would have never done if things would have been as smooth sailing as they were. And with the kind of challenges that we face in everyday life, in these particular in the last 7-8 months that we've seen, not only real estate, all other industries, all other sectors have also undergone a sea change in the way they basically see the kind of business that they do. So predominantly it's very we could call ourselves lucky enough to see both phases of it, the pre-COVID part of business as well as the post-COVID part of business. So we are witnessing something where we are the change agents today.
Zahid, that's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic.
One of the things that strikes me always when I hear these stories is that well-educated, very focused, highly experienced people are now in real estate. And I think that's a huge benefit for the end user.
Absolutely. See, because when I was not in this industry, and probably when we look at pre-rare times, this industry was something which was a very scattered industry, a very unorganized industry. We could call it, where when you looked at somebody who is showing you properties, it was a profession which was basically looked down upon. It's like, if you cannot do anything, you better try your hand at real estate. So that is the perception that the overall market had. And again, we can say that a rickshaw wala or a chai wala or the regular barber shop, they were the ones who were doubling up. They're trying to double up on their incomes by showing a few properties here and there. So that was the kind of profile which was there earlier. But with the kind of setups that are happening, with the kind of developer groups that are coming in, we have bigger brands coming into Pune. Now when I'm speaking about such things, I'm speaking per se only about Pune. Probably a company like Lodha or a Godrej, they were there in all the top-notch, probably the 5-6 cities there, the top-notch cities of India. But post Pune, starting to expand, then the IT companies and all coming in, you had a lot of influx of foreigners who are traveling for business. You have as Pune is called as the Oxford of the East, you already had the kind of people here who would, eventually want to settle down here, provided the opportunities are there in Pune. Classically, if you look at probably around, pre-90s, Pune was also known, as a pensioners' paradise. Today that notion has changed. People come to Pune. You have seen a lot of people, from down south, from north, from east, and from Rajasthan. And because we are placed in the western side of the country, there are many people who have come here in search of careers, and finally, now they are the ones who are buying properties in Pune. So as such, because of the strategic positioning of Pune, and because it falls on the western part of India and very closer to Bombay, the proximity to Bombay, the proximity to other IT hubs like Hyderabad and Bangalore, Pune has become a very hot destination for, the younger generation also to look at it from a future perspective of settling down and, having the entire people have started dreaming about, living in Pune. Bombay as such, Delhi as such, it's something which is saturated. Nobody wants to go to Bombay. That was one primary reason why I came back from Bombay, because with my past companies, for the last 6-7 years, I was in Bombay. And having lived in Pune, having seen Pune life from my childhood, I never wanted my children, to move out of Pune because of the, the basic, you can say, the convenience that Pune has to offer, which will, no matter how big or how posh a society you shift into Bombay, the comfort that Pune offers is unmatchable. And today, if you look at the, the index where we basically measure the most, livable city, or people wherein, there are surveys happening where you basically ask people as to which city would you prefer living in India, then probably 70% of the people would definitely prefer coming down to Pune rather than going to any other city in India. So that again makes this particular belt that we are sitting in Pune one of the most hotcakes, not only for people who are residing in India, but people who are outside India also. So people who are looking at investing, they are also ones who are looking at Pune as an option, because Bombay as such has become probably a bit out of reach. If you look at the the kind of commotion which is actually happening in Bombay, plus the kind of because everybody and anybody would want to go to Bombay in search of rosy roti that they call. So Bombay earlier was it was like it was the only silver lining that anybody had if you would want to make a career into anything, you say. And that actually still remains the fact that
Correct.
you want to make anybody who works in Bombay can work anywhere in the world, is what they say, and which I can I can be bullish about it, but yes, that is the fact, that remains the fact today.
So Zahid, you've said a couple of very important and very interesting things. One is, you said that you are one of the lucky few who have seen both sides of this curve. You've seen pre-COVID business and post-COVID business.
Exactly.
Similarly,
See,
there are buyers who have seen a pre-COVID. Sorry, there are buyers who have seen a pre-COVID market, and now suddenly there's a post-COVID market, and it's changed completely. There are new opportunities, never before opportunities. So how should buyers be looking at this period in real estate history?
See, because now from the time we started, the buyer mentality as such, if you look at Pune, is anybody and everybody. You would get probably 5% of buyers who would take decisions probably within a month's time. But then classically, what has happened in Pune is that we still are of that the market is still of that you can call thought process of the touch and see thought process that I call. So basically, if you look at traditionally the way we have bought, say for example, I am wearing this particular blazer and this shirt. So traditionally, what used to happen was prior to Flipkart, Amazon, and all getting all this stuff online, was that unless and until we go, we check the particular product, we have a feel of what texture it is, what quality it is, whether it is 100% cotton or whether there is a mix of, some other piece of material there, you will never buy. So similarly, on similar lines, what happened was, the mentality as such, not only in Pune, across India, was that unless and until we go, we physically check out the space that we're gonna buy, we physically check out the location, we know what surroundings are there, we will never be buying. And plus, real estate is something, whether you buy an apartment or a duplex or a bungalow, real estate is something which is one of the, you can say, the most costliest investment that one ever makes in his entire lifetime. So it's a major decision. It's not like, I like this shirt, I like the color, so even if I don't ask my parents about it, even if I don't ask my spouse about it, I'm still okay, she will still be okay, my parents would still be okay. But real estate as such is something where you need people to second your thought. So classically, what used to happen was, you come in, you view a property, you go back to your parents, you go back to your family, you get them again. Probably even after your parents and your family has given it a green signal, you will still want your friends and your acquaintances to say, and to tell you that yes, this is a property worth buying. That is when you actually get that official stamp of that, okay, yes, I have made a wise decision of buying this property. That was the thought process which was earlier on. Post COVID, what happened was, there were people who were waiting to buy. They had the amount of money that they had saved on in the last 7, 8, 10 years, and they were waiting to buy. But then COVID struck. Now, the moment COVID struck, there were two things which went into the decision making process. No doubt there was uncertainty about jobs and all. So post COVID, we saw a lot of companies within 15-20 days taking drastic measures, cutting down on costs, cutting down on manpower as well. That was one part. So probably 1 month, 1.5 months down the line, there was a lot of you can say a queeriness, or you can say a very quiet way of people were very reluctant to speak to anybody. Forget speaking to anybody. They were like, we don't know till when this lockdown is gonna last. So that was what the problem was then. Then slowly and steadily, probably 45 days into the lockdown, people were like quite okay with it, because that was the first time ever, probably with the kind of we would be having people who are 90-year-olds also, and people who are just experiencing lockdown. Like, I have a younger daughter of mine whom it was very difficult. She is 10 years right now, so it was very difficult for me to convince her that this is a period when it was vacation time for them. So convincing them that why do we not, why and for what reason are we not going out was very difficult. So for people like us, and for people of this particular generation, or who have seen 2020, it's something out of the blue. Whether it was an 80-year-old, whether it was a 40-year-old or a 20-year-old, everybody was unprepared for, because they couldn't see anything coming through. And the kind of, announcements that were being... Sure.
I'm gonna intervene right there.
While all of us know that there was this uncertainty, what I really want to discuss with you guys is how has customer behavior changed after post-COVID? But I will come back to you in just a minute, because Imran has joined us right now.
Sure.
Let's have Imran unmute and have him back on stream. Imran, are we audible? I think we spent half our life asking this question. Are we audible? I am not sure
Imran can hear us.
I can hear us twice. Imran, when you're nice and ready, will you unmute and come on screen, then we'll know that you're ready. So in the meanwhile, let me go back to Zahir. It's you and I again. So what is the specific things that happened, Zahir? What happened? How did customer behavior change post-COVID?
See, initially they were not at all receptive, right? Mm-hmm. And because of the uncertainty, as I said, later on, what happened was the industry, probably, the the people who are whom we call as the flag bearers of the industry. Probably a company like I would be specifically naming a few companies. Probably Godrej was one company, which one real estate company which showed us the way out in such testing times. So the kind of platforms that they brought forward was something which everybody picked up from. So probably a company like Godrej, they started with having interactions online with clients, right? They were having portals where basically they were having a lot of interactive portals where, sitting right at the comfort of your house, you can actually see the actual unit that they would want to sell out. So the entire end-to-end you can say the entire end-to-end selling of real estate was happening on lines of what we basically do with Flipkart or an Amazon, buying a t-shirt or a trouser or a sunglasses or something like that. So the customer knew that, okay, online is something which is the future, but relating online buying with real estate was something which was still not ever thought about, at least in India. Probably it might be happening in other countries, even in so there were two set of clients basically. So one was an investor who is outside India, so he will never be coming to India to actually go and view a property. Probably the most that he could do is, he has somebody staying in the city, so he can ask him to go physically to the site, check out what kind of work is happening, whether this particular developer is reliable or not. That was the max that he could do. Else, if he now say for example, I had a cousin who stays in the US, but then he wants to buy in Bangalore, and his family setup was in Pune. So if he wants to buy in Bangalore, then he will never have somebody who can go and physically check out the property there. So he has to do the due diligence at his own end. He has to ensure that he's done enough research online about the background of the developer and all, and then take a call there. So likewise in Pune, if you look at the end customer, there were customers who were who are ready to take that call, but that again depended on what kind of developer he's trying to book with. So there is still this a very thin line between the trust levels that are there between the end user and the developer. So only a few developers will have that trust level there. Because every time that you look at when at any particular developer, the customer will always it's like, is the I could put it in that way that the customer wants to buy a property, but he will always think about the developer in probably a negative sense, that ये तो चिपकाने के लिए बैठा है, या ये मुझे महंगा ही बेचेगा. So it's like, I want to buy a shirt, but I will always go and question him, why are you trying to sell it at a higher rate than what you sell it in the market? So it's that. So that is what the perception was. I believe Imran is online and he is very eager to speak to everybody. So
yes, thank you for the point you made. You're very candid in some of the points you made. But I think that we are sitting on the cusp of history over here, in which real estate customers have suddenly realized that there's a small window of opportunity. And once this window closes, closed forever. So Imran, let's bring you into the conversation at this point.
Yeah, extremely sorry. Actually, there is some ring issue might be happening this time, and I missed might be lots of things.
No, not at all. First, let's start with Imran. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then tell us
My name is
what you think. What you think of the customer experience right now.
Yeah, can I start? Yeah, so my name is Imran. Actually, I'm working in real estate for past last 5 to 6 years. So I have done work with very good brands like HDFC Realty, Emirates, and AOC as well. Okay. So in Pune location, I have all experience in Pune location only. Okay, so ma'am, you're asking me some questions, right?
So Imran, suddenly there's this small window of opportunity
Okay.
for real estate buyers. 31st March tak people should buy. And
Right.
Zahir was making some interesting points that there are some customers who are still thinking कि real estate developer महंगा बेच रहा है.
Okay.
They should sell lower. Now, what is your advice to people who are thinking like this? Because I think that's very dangerous thinking. अगर
No,
customer आज
see,
भी कहता
it's,
रहेगा
uh,
कि prices इससे भी कम हो जाएंगी, I think it's a dangerous waiting game to play. So Imran, what is your opinion?
right, right. People are not thinking about the rate appreciation as well, which has happened year to year. Okay, because nobody will can sell below the radiation rate. Right. So people are always thinking that market को down हो चुका है, कोविड आ चुका है, बिल्डर काफी desperate है सेल करने के लिए है. So I don't think so कि ऐसा है, because see, रेडी रेट में रेट के नीचे तो कोई डेवलपर सेल करता ही नहीं है. That's very true. एंड सेकेंड थिंग ऐसा है कि जैसे जो आप कह रहे हैं कि स्मॉल विंडो है, तो आप अगर देखेंगे गवर्नमेंट ने भी जो स्मॉल विंडो को थोड़ा सा बढ़ा दिया है, बिकॉज इफ यू कैन सी द चेंजेस बिटवीन द टाइमिंग द रजिस्ट्रेशन, आप अगर ने देखा होगा कि 9 बजे से लेके जो 7 बजे तक they have changed the time and they have started from morning 7:30 to 9:30. Okay, so it might be boosted for the market. Okay, and अगर मैं क्लाइंट्स की बात करूं कि अगर उनकी माइंड प्रोसेस है, थॉट प्रोसेस है कि अगर ऐसे है तो आगे जाके रेट बाय करेंगे या तो आगे जाके बिल्डर अपना रेट डाउन करेंगे, मुझे नहीं लगता, क्योंकि एवरी ईयर जो एप्रिसिएशन जो डेवलपर डिसाइड करता है अपने जो ओल्ड बायर्स है उनके लिए, तो दे हैव ऑलरेडी सेट देयर टारगेट. Okay, for really genuine buyer, I don't think so they will wait or keep thinking on this.
Zahir, what do you think? People will wait or people will make their buying decisions?
See, people would, it would be wise enough if they make their buying decisions right now, because with the kind of, the costs are something which are, which would always, if not go up, they would stagnate at the levels currently that they are, because we saw a lot of the labor which was there in Pune. If you look at, these were not local laborers, they were from probably other cities and other states. So the labor which has gone outside, what is happening is getting them back is a big task. One. Number two, not everybody is returning back right now. Probably, we can say that, probably 40% of the labor staff has returned back. Now, if this 40% of labor staff has returned back, they will also want to cash in on the opportunity. So they will always hike their labor rates rather than, get paid what they were getting paid earlier, because they are the ones who are in demand. Now, secondly, the cost of construction has not gone down. In fact, because of COVID, you can say, or because of transportation costs going up and everything, so getting the material from the actual place of acquisition is again a big task. So it's not that the builder is in huge profits or something like that, where he might probably look at giving you something at a cheaper rate than what he was actually buying. And with the kind of the developers that are there in the market, it will obviously one sentiment that is there, and ethically I believe that is a right practice to follow, is that if my say for example my first 50 customers, I have charged them 51 lakh rupees. How can it be that my 90th customer will be charged 48 lakh rupees? It wouldn't be fair enough on my part as a developer, so that would obviously hit the brand loyalty, that I'm trying to get in from my clients, because it's not that, the developers that are there post RERA, the developers that remain in the market today are developers who are looking at a timeline of probably 10-15 years, where they'll be, and with the kind of positioning that Pune currently is at, we can say I can definitely see another 50 years where probably Pune as such will be neck to neck with Bombay. If you look at the way Pune today is, there are developments up to Talegaon which has happened, and from the Bombay side, probably you cross Panvel and very nearing to Lonavala, the developments have happened. So there is a huge chunk of land, where the developments will happen. So definitely, the bigger brands would obviously, if they are developing 100 acres, they would obviously look at, acquiring another 300 more acres. So the gap as such. So I can definitely see that in the next 20 years, probably across the Pune-Bombay highway that we have, the expressway, there will be developments, right across. So today we see those green patches in between. Probably, I believe only the Lonavala Ghat section would be something which might be untouched. Otherwise, there will be developments right across through and through the entire belt of the expressway, that is. So there's a lot of potential of, going forward. So that way, if we look at the cost, will never be, something that a developer would want to compromise today. And again, if he's not compromising on cost, if you look at the way the industry has shaped in the last 10 years, earlier a 2 BHK was, probably 1,000 square feet carpet was the minimum that we used to get a 2 BHK in Pune for. So because of the increase in cost, and because you want everybody to, basically get into the affordable segment, what has happened is the carpet area has shrunk by 25%. So earlier, a 2 BHK, which was 1,000 square feet carpet area, today you get a very good, decent size, well-designed 750 carpet area 2 BHK. So, the way the unit is designed again, so we basically speak of MLA, maximum livable area, where, every inch, every square feet of your unit is being used. So there is no dead space. So, and that makes, that is the entire fun part of, selling real estate. So probably in 1,000 carpet area, you might find, 50 to 75 carpet area, which is a dead space. Probably you just, it becomes, at the end, it becomes a dumping ground for you. But because because of the compact size, you will only have as much furniture as you require in your unit. You will not, just because there is a free space, you will never load it.
True.
I agree
And
with you.
second thing is,
Yes, Imran.
yeah, second thing is whenever see, before plan.
Hello.
We can hear you. We can hear you, Imran.
Yeah. So if you can see before 3 years back, a developer can, as I said, that there is a 1,000 square feet area which is sellable, and we can see the room sizes which is the same against we can compare with the today's 690 as well, 700 as well, and 750 as well. Okay, because as I mentioned that there is no dead space, right? अगर हम देखेंगे 3 साल पहले there is a lobby space when you enter the flat. There is a 4x5 lobby spaces there. Bedroom to bedroom there is a walkway there, okay, which is around 4 to 8 feet. Okay, so if you less that carpet area and consider the now and comparing with the today's market, okay, so there is no any difference between room sizes and the toilet washroom sizes or kitchen sizes. There is no huge difference. There is only you can say the 90-20 is different.
So, Leena, just to add on to what, Leena, just to add on to, from where I left, in the last 2 years, if we look at 2019 was one, phase where, there was an economic slowdown, one, and two, there were the state and the central government elections which were there. So that made the customer think on, probably whether it was the right time to buy or not. What if, the government changes? What if, things happen? So people were waiting for that to happen. The moment that thing stabilized, and we were just into, the last quarter of the year, and COVID struck. So it's actually been, I can say the last 2 years that, the prices have remained the same. The prices have definitely remained the same. If you go back 5 years, Hinjewadi is one place where, there was no 50 lakh unit as such in Hinjewadi. So today, if we see in Hinjewadi itself, you will find a decent amount of products which is priced between 50 to 55 lakhs. So, because of this particular trend which is coming in, as in, the last 2 years where people are waiting and would want to wait. So, the developers are also trying to, lure them by, getting them what they actually want, and not, having bigger size units as such. So out of the entire, you can say the amount of sale or the amount of units that are coming up, 85% of units are of the range of 50 to 60 lakhs. Probably the remainder of 15% is a ticket size of probably 65 lakhs and upwards. So people are intending to live in those spaces. So that is the reason why you have to get them, you have to get units which will fit their pocket size. There is no point in building a 1,200 carpet area unit and then keeping it unsold for years together. You rather split it into two and give them very good decent sizes, 650 700 carpet area, 2 BHKs, and you sell it off like a hotcake.
So Zahir, let me say again that from the customer buyer point of view, this represents a huge opportunity.
Exactly.
Because suddenly, like Zahir, guys who are listening, please listen carefully. I'm trying to space my voice if in case it's echoing. So Zahir said 85% of inventory today is between 50 to 60, 55 to 65 lakhs. Now that makes it extremely attractive as a period for almost everyone to become a real estate buyer. So I think that is the opportunity we should all be focusing on. We should be looking at how we are getting apartments that are right size, right priced, no wastage, no fat margins for us to worry about. Even developers are working on razor thin margins. From a buyer point of view, we should be really very, very excited about purchasing our homes right now. So Imran, you're back. Actually, we're at the end of our 40-minute conversation, but let me come to you quickly. So Imran, for people who are planning to buy just now, what is your advice and why?
Yeah, see, customers are always saying few things about the budget. Firstly, they're always looking into the interest rate, what is currently running in banking, and second is builder rate. They are builder going to negotiate or not, and second thing is the government charges like stamp duty registration and GST. Okay. In this market, as of now, the bank interest rates are already reduced, and builder rates are already reduced. Stamp duty registration, the government is also supporting this. Okay, so I think this is a very good time to buy the property and invest as well.
You're saying because of bank rates, stamp duty,
Right.
and rationalization of prices by developers.
Right, very true.
In addition to that, we have right-sized homes. We have homes that are designed with the buyer's pocket and needs in mind.
Right.
No wastage. Nothing that you don't need.
Right.
When all these factors have come together,
Right.
I think it's a great opportunity. And my worry is that some people might miss this opportunity. Because this is not going to stay forever, right? It's not going to, these circumstances together are not going to be there forever.
No, see, people who are thinking that price will be decreased in next financial year, so I don't think so. They should to wait. Right.
Sorry,
because
Imran, I
the
think
smart
we
buyers
together.
and smart investors are already buying the property till this December and the middle of January. If you can see, the very huge gap in the selling. Jan to March, after COVID came, and after that the selling is very boosted up. Because of only stamp duty registration, people who want to really buy, they have pocket in their, they have money in their pocket. They are already buying. They are not thinking about the 1% stamp duty will be reduced and then only I can buy. Before the stamp duty will, there is a huge number of booking will has already happened.
So Imran, thank
Leena,
you for saying this. Yes, Zahir.
Leena, in the last 15 years, if we look at the timeline of last 15 years, there have basically been two spikes of, the real estate sector going up. One was probably during the 2007, 2008, economic downtrend, which happened. Post 2008, as in people who had bought somewhere in 2009, 2010, they saw an unprecedented, appreciation of rates happening probably up to 2013, 14. Again, probably 13, 14 was when, there was again an economic downtrend. So that's the, you can call it the rule of, the economics. Every 7-8 years, there is this phase where, the economy struggles to meet the expectations. And then probably there are boosters given by the government. There are, new things which are coming into the market, which help the revival of the economy. So probably this time round, if we look at, it's been 2 years that we are at one level. So from here, if anybody is not, having that courage to, go ahead and buy property, it's something which he should really think upon. The time is not lost. We still have a good amount of 3 months left with us. The government is still doling out, a lot of, it's a freebie. It's actually a freebie. 2%, probably January 1 is when we are looking at another 1% hike. Another 3% is something that you still save. For somebody who is buying a 50 lakh property, who is putting in 5 lakhs of hard-earned money as down payment, 45 lakhs as, a 45 lakh rupee loan will be pulling out around 40,000 rupees from his pocket as EMI. For him, a 1.5 lakh rupee, which is 3% of your stamp duty rate, that is a big amount. 1.5 lakh rupees for somebody who is a first buyer, it will ensure that, he'll have sufficient funds saved to at least make furniture for 2 of his rooms out of the 4 rooms that he has in his unit. So people have to, understand those, they have to be pitched those logics also. So as a buyer, you have to see whether, what is the, whatever amount you are saving, where can you actually, utilize that amount. So today it's as good as, the government telling you that go ahead and buy. I am sponsoring the furniture of your house. That is how easy it is.
Right. Indirectly, they are saying the same thing.
Absolutely.
Indirectly, they are saying the same thing. Absolutely.
So, guys, for all of us who are listening just now, the government is sponsoring 2 rooms furniture in your house. You're buying a 2-bedroom house, 2 rooms, the government is taking care of the furniture. I mean, why wouldn't you take it? Why wouldn't you take it? So I think this is where we are
and the
today.
Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, which we all missed, is still there.
Right.
PMAY is still there.
People who are waiting that I'm getting a PMAY Yojana or not. There is one comment from my side. See, GR is not coming still now. Still not, GR is not again. So I think so it will take at least 2 months. Wait on paper.
Okay. So, guys, I've taken 5 minutes extra from you. But the time has just flown by. So, but just before we leave, I want both of you to share your top 3 real estate buying tips with our audience today. Why should we buy now?
To start, right.
Yes,
why should we buy now? Yes, so you would want to share some tips as to how we sell, or why does one need to buy? Because there was some audio disturbances in between.
Zahir, you're now frozen.
I'm there.
Okay. So I'm a buyer. With your experience, tell me why I should buy right now.
Okay.
With your experience, and Nimran, tell me why I should buy right now.
Okay. See, one is with whatever things have happened in the last few months, things are getting back to normal. Right, things are getting back to normal. People are, apart from the IT crowd, people are back at their workplaces. People are getting comfortable using masks. People are getting comfortable, meeting people. Probably the moment, the lockdowns ended, there were a lot of, restrictions which were there, where when a customer used to come into, visit a site. So probably people are getting used to, and the confidence that people have in the government that yes, the vaccine is in place now, so that is again a confidence booster for people to come out of the houses and buy. The boosters that the government has given us, probably the financial institutions are again extending their hand, and the interest rates are the first time we have seen probably in the last 8-10 years, the lowest interest rates which are being offered. So it's actually less taxing on your pocket, right? Then in case if you are a hard negotiator, probably there are chances that with a B category or a C category developer, you can definitely get a better deal there. So that is one thing where probably if you think that you are a very good negotiator, you can definitely try your hand there. Going for something which is a ready to move property, where the thing is standing right in front of you, so there is no ambiguity or no speculation as to what is going to happen in the near future. At least you'll be safe, rather than sorry, if you are going for a ready to move in property. So at least even if a second COVID situation, God forbid, happens, you at least are staying in the property that you are paying for. Unlike when you basically go in for something which is an under construction one. But it again depends on how confident you are in the project that you are investing. And with RERA coming into picture, what happens is the restrictions that a developer has, it's always more towards it's been made customer friendly. So it's not like you put in money and you are just waiting for the product to get delivered. So that doesn't remain now. Probably because of COVID, you can see a shift of a 6-month delay happening in the actual delivery of product. That is the maximum that would ever happen. So that is something which is happening across the country. So it's not per se one particular developer. That's the rule of law for the entire set. And plus, if you look at the way things are shaping up right now, with the kind of development that is happening, we can if you look at Pune, the metro lines are coming up, right? The metro work again is in full swing. So if you don't invest right now, be ready to shell out at least nothing less than 5 to 7% more, probably in you can say the second quarter of the next financial year. So that is something which the developers are also looking forward to. So the traction has started happening. Developers are getting positive feedback as to the walk-ins have started happening. Even they know that yes, now that the walk-ins and the buying mentality has changed, people are positive. The developer is not here to give out freebies, right? He will definitely price his product at what he was expecting in the last 1 year. So if he has kept himself below what he was expecting, this is the time when you buy, else you lose out on the the actual price difference that you're gonna get benefit from.
Thank you, Zahid. Thank you. He makes so guys, just to quickly summarize what Zahid is saying. Things are getting back to normal. Vaccine is on the horizon.
Vaccine is on the horizon.
There's great confidence in the government and what the government is doing for us.
Right.
And people are already buying. So inventory is getting sold out. So if you don't buy now, by the time we hit the second quarter of next financial year, be prepared to pay 5 to 7% extra. Imran, what do you have to say?
Yeah, so I'll add two more things in this as we can see, the metro is something Pune, and it will be finished in December 2022, most probably. So in this year, I mean, more 2 years, so property rate will definitely increase very speedily. Okay. What we have already found is the 10%, 6% increase. I don't think so. I mean, it will take at least 12% to 13% as well. Okay, because when happening demarcation of this metro, at that time also property rates are already. And as of now, we can see the construction is going ahead. Very speedily. I mean, infrastructure also, you can see, which situation may be. जो लेबर्स वगैरह थे, जो गवर्नमेंट लेबर्स थे, उन्होंने उसी को बिकॉज ऑफ लोग ज्यादा बाहर नहीं थे, यही को रोड पर ज्यादा नहीं थे, यही देखकर उन्होंने जो है रोड का काम स्पीड में शुरू किया था गवर्नमेंट ने. Right? There are so many infrastructure has to be developed in this 1 to 2 years, and metro will also, I mean, done till December 22nd. I don't think so. Only 6 to 7% or 10%. I mean, according to me, it will increase at least 10 to 12%.
So if we go with what Imran is saying, 10 to 12% is from the developer's side, and don't forget that registration rates will go back to the normal 6 and 7%. So that's again another 4%. Right. So if we go by what Imran is saying, it will actually effectively on the pocket of the end customer, it will end up between 13 to 17%. That is a huge amount.
Huge, very huge.
That's a pinch.
So guys, we've really overshot, but it was an interesting.
So basically,
interesting conversation we've had.
So basically, anybody who buys now, one word that can sum it up is it will be a steal for him.
Wow.
STEAL.
Wow.
Okay, so guys, yeah, like I was saying. It was an interesting conversation, and when Zahir and Imran say that.
And when Zahir and Imran say that
stamp duty and developers bullishness. If we do not buy now, we're looking at shelling out an extra 13 to 17%, which it made me pinch. It made me feel pinched. It's a painful thought. Buy now. Go ahead. Buy now.
And it will definitely happen.
Yeah. So voices of experience. They're saying it'll definitely happen. I have to bring this conversation to a close. But
and that
Zahir
is the only reason.
Right. But Zahir and Imran.
Yes, Zahir. No, Zahir, you were saying.
Yes, Zahir.
And if you see the major, just to sum it up, just to give you a hint of why what we are saying is something which would happen in the near future is there are developers which use land parcels with them, and they are not launching those products. They are waiting for the right time to strike. They definitely have a big land parcel. The existing ones are sold off, but the only reason why they are waiting is to strike it when it is hot. So now if the customer strikes, it's the customer who will be in a win-win situation. Wait for 4 months and then see what the developer will definitely make us dance to their tunes. So as a customer, if I'm looking at this is the right time to buy.
Zahir Imran, thank you so much. I've kept you guys on screen for a little longer than
Zahir
we
Imran,
had
thank you
intended.
so much. I've kept you guys on screen for a little longer than we had intended.
But the conversation was very insightful.
It was really fantastic having this conversation and sharing my views per se. I believe the viewers who are watching here, the channel partners who are here, the developers who are here, probably I would definitely love to interact with them also and have their feedbacks back on screen, probably because this is going live on Facebook. There might be certain things which we would have missed out because of the time constraint, but this is something which is ever evolving. So every 3-4 months the dynamics of the industry keep changing, and unless and until we adapt to those dynamics, selling would always be difficult, and getting clients would always be difficult. And for a client also, they are also seeing this shift in how what the market was and what it is currently and the way it will be in the near future. So it's probably a learning for everybody. When I look at, though I sell real estate, I am also a customer, right? I also look at investing my hard-earned money in real estate. So it works both ways for me. So what I basically praise or what I pitch is what I actually believe in.
Absolutely. Zahir Imran, thank you so much.
Zahir Imran, thank you so much.
For all our listeners out there.
For all our listeners out there.
Thank you, Leena, and get well soon, because next time we interact, we would need to hear more of your voice, and because we had seen a lot of videos which you have done earlier. So probably it was our bad luck that it was really nice speaking to you. We ensured that we gave your throat a lot of rest. So we definitely deserve a cup of coffee when we are back with you in office.
Definitely a cup of coffee coming up.
Definitely a cup of coffee coming up.
Hopefully before the year ends.
Hopefully before the year ends.
All of the people who are listening to us.
All of the people who are listening.
Had a very great conversation with you.
Thanks, Imran. So let's catch up sometime soon. And for all the people who are listening to us, 13 to 17%. इतना ही याद रखोगे आज के बारे में बहुत होगा. 13 to 17%. So Zahir Imran, thank you so much.
Zahir Imran, thank you so much. We will catch up.
It's not that we are trying to scare them away. It's just we are trying to make them aware of what is
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. And I think everyone appreciates that.
Absolutely. All about our experience, what have we done in this state.
Yes, certainly. And I'm sure all of us will take you very, very seriously, because the voice of experience is an important voice. So once again, have a great evening what remains of this Saturday.
Have a great evening what remains of this Saturday.
And guys, buy homes now. Zahir and Imran are not joking. They're nice guys. They're not scaring you off. They're telling you the truth.
They're not scaring you off. They're telling you the truth.
Pay attention.
Pay attention.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Leena. Have a wonderful day and a fantastic year ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, thank you, Zahira and Leena, ma'am.